Keith Urban, a name that has always sparkled in the spotlight, yet behind the music and smiles, a story was quietly unfolding. For years, the world watched him and Nicole Kidman as the golden couple of Hollywood and country music, a marriage that seemed untouchable. But what fans never saw were the moments between the red carpets, the long stretches of silence, the distance, and the struggles kept hidden from every camera lens. It wasn't sudden. Subtle cracks had formed long before the headlines, quietly reshaping the life they had built together. Keith's confession now exposes a truth that changes everything we thought we knew about their marriage. The late-night conversations, missed celebrations, and emotional battles, pieces of a puzzle only Keith can now reveal. Fans were shocked when he finally spoke out, admitting mistakes that no one could have predicted. The fairy tale image faded, replaced by a raw human story of love, mistakes, and consequences. Stay with us, because in the next moments, we'll uncover the details Keith shared, the secrets behind the smiles, and why this confession has left the world speechless. Early years and marriage backstory. Long before the world saw red carpets and award shows, Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman's paths were quietly converging in ways that felt both unexpected and inevitable. Nicole, already an established Hollywood star with a string of acclaimed performances, was coming out of a high-profile chapter in her life. She had experienced the pressures and complexities of fame and had a clear idea of what she wanted in a partner, someone who could balance ambition with understanding. Keith, on the other hand, was rising in the country music world. His voice carried both warmth and depth, and his performances showed a dedication that drew fans not just to his music, but to his character. Their first meetings were understated, away from the glare of publicity, filled with long conversations that revealed shared values, mutual respect, and a rare sense of connection. The two seemed to find in each other both comfort and inspiration, a partnership built on understanding rather than appearances. By 2006, their relationship reached a public milestone with their wedding in Sydney. The ceremony was elegant, yet intimate, a reflection of both their personalities. Nicole wore a stunning gown that drew admiration worldwide, while Keith's presence exuded both confidence and tenderness. Their vows were not just promises in front of family and friends. They symbolized hope and commitment. Two people determined to create a life together, despite the pressures of fame. In the early years, their relationship seemed seamless. Keith often dedicated songs to Nicole, capturing private emotions in public performances. Nicole spoke openly about the grounding presence Keith brought into her life, noting how he supported her through difficult times and offered stability when the world around them seemed chaotic. Their daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, became an essential part of their story, giving the couple shared joy and responsibilities that bonded them even further. Publicly, the pair appeared inseparable. Red carpet events showed them smiling together. Interviews highlighted mutual admiration, and media outlets often praised them as a model couple. Fans admired not only their individual talents, but the way they complemented each other, blending Hollywood glamour with musical charm. Yet, as with any relationship, the visible harmony was only part of the story. Behind closed doors, the demands of their careers and the realities of daily life began to test even their strong bond. Even in those early years, there were subtle challenges. Keith's touring schedule often meant long absences, and Nicole's filming could take her across continents. They faced the task of balancing public obligations with private commitments, a challenge many couples never experience. These pressures, though manageable initially, planted seeds of strain that would quietly grow over time. What made their story remarkable was not just the love they shared, but their ability to navigate life's demands while trying to maintain a sense of normalcy. Their early years together laid a foundation of respect, admiration, and shared dreams. Yet they also hinted at the realities that come with managing fame, family, and personal ambitions. The fairy tale image was real, but it existed alongside very human challenges: long hours, missed moments, and the constant push and pull between personal life and professional responsibilities. The backstory of Keith and Nicole reminds us that even relationships admired by millions are built on effort, understanding, and compromise. It sets the stage for understanding the pressures and decisions that followed in the years ahead, leading to the moments that would eventually become public knowledge. Their early years show both the strength of their connection and the vulnerabilities that even the most seemingly perfect partnerships must face. Signs of trouble. As the years went by, the fairy tale image of Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman began to meet the realities of life behind the scenes. Fans saw their smiles, family outings, and public celebrations, but the private moments were often shaped by long separations, heavy schedules, and unspoken pressures. These were not dramatic scandals, just ordinary challenges amplified by fame. Keith's touring schedule was relentless. Months on the road, performing night after night, meant he was often away from home. Each city brought applause, lights, and adoring fans, but also isolation and exhaustion. Nicole, meanwhile, balanced major film projects across multiple continents. London, Los Angeles, and Sydney became a rotation of sets, premieres, and press events. Coordinating even a weekend together required careful planning, and sometimes it wasn't possible. Despite their efforts, the physical distance slowly created emotional gaps. Small routines that strengthen relationships, shared meals, bedtime stories, quiet conversations were hard to maintain. Nicole tried to adjust her projects to spend time with her family, and Keith made gestures through music and messages, yet the balance remained fragile. What outsiders interpreted as stability was, in many ways, a delicate act of managing two demanding careers while keeping a family intact. Even ordinary challenges became complicated. Celebrations like birthdays, anniversaries, or holidays sometimes occurred apart. Moments meant for the family were interrupted by work commitments. Over time, these repeated absences added strain. The couple communicated, supported each other, and maintained mutual respect, but the pressure of constantly being apart left its mark. Fans noticed little signs, missed events, quieter interviews, or separate appearances. But there was no public indication of conflict, only the reality of two people trying to sustain love across distance and responsibility. Friends noted that the couple had to work harder than most to maintain closeness, and their efforts were genuine but increasingly tested. Even at home, parenting added to the complexity. Raising Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret required constant attention and coordination. Keith's time on tour and Nicole's travel meant they often navigated parenting decisions through calls or quick check-ins. These adjustments, necessary as they were, sometimes created emotional fatigue. The responsibilities of being parents, celebrities, and partners collided, revealing how challenging it was to maintain the closeness they once enjoyed. At the same time, both Keith and Nicole faced personal challenges. Keith, candid about past struggles with addiction, relied on his support network, including Nicole, for guidance and stability. Nicole managed her own pressures, from career expectations to public scrutiny, all while prioritizing her children. The emotional weight each carried added another layer to the quiet tensions in their marriage. The signs of trouble were subtle but persistent. They weren't loud arguments or public confrontations, they were the slow accumulation of fatigue distance, and the challenge of balancing two high-profile lives. The cracks didn't appear overnight, but over time, even small pressures can grow into something more significant. In many ways, these challenges reflected the reality for any couple juggling demanding careers and family life. What made Keith and Nicole's situation unique was the added scrutiny of the world watching. Every moment apart, every missed event, and every private struggle were magnified by media attention and public curiosity. Yet, through it all, the couple remained committed to maintaining respect and care for each other, even when life pulled them in different directions. Understanding these signs is essential to seeing the full picture behind their separation. It shows that even marriages admired globally face invisible challenges. The distance, schedules, and pressures weren't failures. They were realities of their lives. Yet, these factors quietly influenced decisions, emotional states, and ultimately, the path that led them to a public acknowledgement of change. Keith's confession and reflections. After years of maintaining a public image of a perfect marriage, Keith Urban finally spoke about the challenges he faced privately. His statements were not dramatic revelations, but thoughtful reflections on the life he and Nicole Kidman built together. For fans, the confession offered a rare glimpse into the human side of someone often seen only on stage or in headlines. Keith has openly acknowledged that balancing fame, touring, and family life was not easy. He described how the long hours on the road, the constant travel, and the demands of performing night after night took a toll not only on him, but on the family he loved. His music, often filled with emotion, served as both an outlet and a reminder of what mattered most. Through interviews and public statements, he shared that maintaining closeness with Nicole and their daughters required constant effort, and sometimes, despite the best intentions, it was not enough. In reflecting on the marriage, Keith emphasized personal responsibility. He acknowledged past struggles, including periods of addiction and the stress of an intense career, as factors that influenced the relationship. These were challenges he faced openly, and he recognized how they affected his ability to be fully present. His words were not excuses. They were honest admissions of how life's pressures can strain even the strongest bonds. Keith's confession also highlighted the importance of gratitude. He spoke about the unwavering support Nicole provided throughout their journey, and how her commitment helped him navigate difficult times. Even as their paths diverged, he expressed deep respect for her resilience and dedication, particularly in parenting their daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret. It was clear that his reflections were not meant to criticize or assign blame, but to honor the shared experiences that shaped their family. What made Keith's statements significant was the balance he struck between honesty and empathy. He did not dwell on speculation, nor did he sensationalize private moments. Instead, he described the marriage as a journey full of love, challenges, growth, and learning. By acknowledging both successes and shortcomings, he provided a humanizing perspective on a relationship that many admired from the outside. Fans responded with a mix of empathy and understanding. Social media and news outlets highlighted his openness, praising the courage it took to speak truthfully about a high-profile marriage. At the same time, Keith reminded the public that some aspects of private life remain personal and that speculation can often misrepresent reality. His approach showed a commitment to honesty. While protecting the dignity of the family, he continues to co-parent with Nicole. Keith's reflections also serve as a broader lesson about love, responsibility, and personal growth. Even relationships admired worldwide are not immune to life's pressures. Maintaining a marriage requires more than affection. It requires attention, effort, and balance. Keith's candid acknowledgement of these realities provides insight into the complexities behind the smiles and public appearances. In the end, his confession was less about scandal and more about understanding. It revealed a man grappling with life's demands, recognizing mistakes, and expressing appreciation for the partner who shared nearly 2 decades of his journey. The honesty of his words allows fans to see a side of Keith Urban that goes beyond fame, talent, or headlines, a side grounded in reflection, accountability, and humanity. By sharing his experience, Keith not only sheds light on his personal story, but also underscores the universal truth that relationships are complicated. Love, support, and commitment exist alongside challenges, and the courage to reflect honestly can bring clarity and growth, even after difficult decisions. Rumors and public speculation. When news of Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman's separation reached the public in September 2025, it sparked immediate curiosity and a flood of speculation. Fans, journalists, and social media users alike searched for answers, trying to understand why a couple admired for nearly 2 decades would part ways. With high-profile marriages, rumors are almost inevitable, and the story of Keith and Nicole was no exception. Almost immediately, whispers began to circulate about possible other people or new relationships. A few reports mentioned a bandmate, while others speculated about friendships that might have turned into something more. However, none of these claims were officially confirmed. Both Keith and Nicole remained largely private, refusing to comment on these unverified stories. Experts and insiders stressed that much of what circulated was speculation, fueled by the natural human desire to explain high-profile separations. It's important to separate fact from fiction. Confirmed details show that Keith and Nicole had been living separately for several months before the divorce filing. Their separation was a personal decision, influenced by long-term challenges like travel schedules, work obligations, and emotional distance, not necessarily by any outside involvement. The couple also continued to prioritize the well-being of their daughters, demonstrating a level of cooperation and commitment that contrasted with the more sensational narratives online. Social media amplified every minor observation. Fans closely examined Instagram posts, public appearances, and concert performances for hints of tension or new relationships. Every smile, glance, or absence became a topic of conversation. While these speculations were widespread, they often overlooked the realities that even ordinary couples face: balancing careers, family responsibilities, and personal growth. For Keith and Nicole, these pressures were magnified by fame, but they were fundamentally human experiences. In addition to speculation about outside relationships, rumors arose about disagreements over career priorities. Some suggested that Nicole's demanding film schedule conflicted with Keith's touring life, creating friction. While scheduling conflicts were real, the couple consistently worked to manage these pressures, and there was no verified evidence that they were the sole cause of their separation. The reality, as both Keith and Nicole have indicated, is that maintaining a long-term marriage requires constant attention, especially when both partners have demanding careers. Another recurring rumor involved financial disagreements. Divorce and asset management are common points of discussion in high-profile marriages, and speculation about prenups or settlements quickly spread online. Verified reports show that Keith and Nicole's separation followed standard legal procedures and included agreements consistent with their prenuptial arrangements. Beyond that, details remained private, as they chose to protect their family's dignity and maintain focus on their children rather than media controversy. What stands out in the midst of all speculation is the couple's measured approach to communication. Nicole remained largely silent in public, prioritizing privacy and family. Keith, meanwhile, spoke candidly about his personal reflections, emphasizing that his words were meant to clarify misunderstandings rather than fuel rumors. This balance between honesty and discretion allowed them to address public curiosity while maintaining boundaries around private life. Rumors, even when untrue, reveal a lot about public perception. Fans projected their expectations of perfect love onto Keith and Nicole, and the separation challenged that narrative. It reminded the world that admiration does not make a marriage immune to life's pressures. Rumors, even when untrue, reveal a lot about public perception. Fans projected their expectations of perfect love onto Keith and Nicole, and the separation challenged that narrative. It reminded the world that admiration does not make a marriage immune to life's pressures. The stories people tell, whether accurate or not, reflect hope, disappointment, and the human desire to make sense of change. Ultimately, the rumors surrounding Keith and Nicole's divorce illustrate the difficulty of maintaining privacy in the digital age. Every decision, every statement, and every public appearance is scrutinized. Yet, separating confirmed facts from speculation helps provide a clearer picture. Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman's marriage ended after long-standing challenges, and their focus remained on growth, co-parenting, and moving forward respectfully. Even amidst public curiosity, the couple demonstrated that it is possible to navigate a high-profile separation with dignity. Rumors may continue, as they often do with famous couples, but the reality remains grounded in human experiences, balancing love, work, family, and personal growth in ways that are rarely visible to the public. For viewers, understanding this distinction allows a more empathetic perspective, focusing not on gossip, but on the real, emotional journey of two people who shared nearly 20 years. Aftermath and moving forward. With the divorce finalized, Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman began navigating the next chapter of their lives, each in their own way, yet connected through shared responsibility and mutual respect. The end of a marriage, especially one that lasted nearly 2 decades, is rarely simple. For them, the focus quickly shifted to what mattered most: their daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret. Nicole has maintained a strong sense of stability for her children. Despite the heartbreak of separation, she continued to balance her career with parenting. Public appearances became carefully considered moments, reflecting both resilience and poise. At events like film premieres and fashion shows, she was often accompanied by her daughters, signaling a commitment to family while gradually returning to public life on her own terms. Her approach demonstrates that moving forward doesn't mean ignoring the past. It means integrating experiences into growth and balance. Keith, meanwhile, has focused on reflection and personal responsibility. His public statements emphasize the importance of honesty, admitting where challenges arose, and acknowledging the role he played in the marriage's end. Professionally, he continued touring and creating music, using his art as a channel to process emotions and maintain a connection with fans. Beyond career, Keith prioritized co-parenting with Nicole, ensuring that their daughters felt supported, loved, and shielded from unnecessary drama. One of the key lessons in the aftermath is the importance of communication and cooperation. Both Keith and Nicole recognized that, despite the dissolution of their marriage, they could maintain a positive relationship centered on family. Decisions about the children, holidays, and daily routines were approached with mutual understanding. This approach not only eased the transition for their daughters, but also set an example of maturity and empathy in the public eye. Financial stability and planning also played a role in their post-divorce life. While specific details remain private, sources confirm that agreements made during their marriage, including prenuptial arrangements, provided security and fairness for both parties. These structures allowed them to focus less on logistics and more on emotional healing and family well-being. Public reaction to the aftermath has been largely empathetic. Fans and observers acknowledged the couple's efforts to navigate a difficult situation with dignity. Social media highlighted Nicole's strength and Keith's honesty, reinforcing that even admired couples face real human challenges. Rather than sensationalizing, many discussions centered on lessons about love, commitment, and the realities of maintaining a long-term relationship under extraordinary circumstances. The emotional journey for both Keith and Nicole continues, as it does for anyone experiencing a major life transition. Healing does not happen overnight, and moments of reflection, adjustment, and acceptance are natural. Their story reminds viewers that even those who seem to have it all, talent, fame, and admiration, still face struggles, mistakes, and opportunities for growth. Moving forward, both are demonstrating that life after divorce can be meaningful, fulfilling, and respectful. Nicole focuses on personal and professional growth, while ensuring her daughters remain her priority. Keith continues to balance his career with co-parenting, using both reflection and creativity to guide his next steps. While the marriage has ended, the bond of family, shared memories, and mutual respect continues to influence their lives in important ways. Their story also offers universal lessons. Relationships require attention, compromise, and understanding, and even the strongest partnerships can face unexpected pressures. Public admiration does not shield a couple from challenges, and personal growth often emerges from navigating difficult situations. For viewers, witnessing Keith and Nicole's approach to life after divorce underscores that resilience, honesty, and care for loved ones are essential elements of moving forward. Ultimately, the aftermath of their marriage highlights not just endings, but beginnings of new routines, personal reflection, and renewed focus on family values. For Keith, Nicole, and their daughters, this new chapter represents both closure and opportunity. It is a reminder that change, though challenging, can lead to understanding, healing, and the ability to rebuild life with intention and empathy. The story of Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman is a reminder that even the most admired couples face challenges behind closed doors. Fame, distance, and the pressures of balancing careers with family can quietly test the strongest bonds. Their journey shows that love is complex, and maintaining a relationship requires constant effort, understanding, and honesty. Keith's heartfelt confession and Nicole's resilience in navigating life after separation highlight the human side of fame. It is not just about headlines or red carpet moments. It is about responsibility, growth, and caring for family above all. Their story teaches us that even after heartbreak, there is room for reflection, learning, and moving forward with dignity. As we look at their journey, it's clear that endings can also be new beginnings. Co-parenting, personal growth, and prioritizing loved ones show that life continues, and lessons from the past guide better choices in the future. What do you think about their journey? Could the marriage have been saved? Or was this the right path for both?